Anthony Harrell, which way do you go? Which way do you go, Anthony Harrell?
Which way do you go? Now that's a loaded question. I don't care how you apply it, but which way you go is a loaded question. I'm going to talk about a couple different topics and give you a few ideas about it. Maybe we'll even have some innovation in there that you can use in your future. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is driving. We all drive every day. Now, I'm going to ask you, when you go to work, when you go somewhere that you know how to get there, how do you get there? Which direction do you take? How do you decide that? Most of us, we get into a routine. We know how to get where we're going, and we just go there without any thought. However, a lesson I learned a long time ago was I can't foresee what's going on down the road. I don't have that foresight. So a friend of mine explained that every day when he goes to the office, and he's been going to his office for 20 years straight, he learned to plug in his phone and check the GPS. Why? He knows how to get there. In fact, he knows multiple ways to get there. But he realized one day that he was going down this road and it took him 45 minutes because of a traffic jam. So the next day he decided to go a different direction. Guess what? There was an accident that day. How do you tell when there's going to be an accident or traffic jam unless you can foresee the future? Well, that's the nice thing about new GPS systems. You plug that puppy in, it comes up on your screen, and it will tell you the best way and the quickest way. And nowadays, it'll even reroute you if something changes along the way. So you don't have to rely on guesswork. And that's especially important if you have to be at work at a certain time. I can't tell you how many times it saved me when I was going downtown, leaving from Henderson at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I know how to get downtown. You just get on the freeway, you get off on Las Vegas Boulevard, it's all good. Until it's not. So which way do you go? Do you need to use GPS? No, you don't have to. But it's a choice that we make. That way we don't get stuck all the time in that rut and possibly make a mistake. So that's innovation that's working for us. Now, the next question. Technology. Who in here is an iPhone person? Ooh, most of the people. That's awesome. And who's the Android people? All right. So we've got a couple outliers that haven't jumped onto the bandwagon yet. But that's a choice that you make as well, isn't it? Each one has its own advantages. The iPhone syncs really well with their iPad and their MacBook. So everything works together. I can be sitting there on my iPad and my wife calls me, and guess what? I forgot and left my phone in the back room. How many times have you had to get up and run to the back room because that special ringtone, and heaven forbid, you don't want to miss a call from your wife while she's at work. You could get in trouble. Guess what? I can answer it right there on my iPad. I don't have to be in the same room with my phone anymore. The text comes in that she's headed home. I see that on my iPad. I get it on my iPhone or iWatch that she's coming in. I don't have to worry about where everything is all the time. I still have all that information, which is phenomenal. Now, Android has a few technology things like that as well. There's the Android phone that you, or watch that you can use. And I'm sorry, what was that?
Say Garmin also.
Garmin works with the Android. So there's a bunch of different things that you can add on that all work together within that family of technology. That's awesome. So it comes down to a personal choice. Or does it? If your wife has a certain type of phone, you probably want to be able to communicate easiest with her. So it's a good idea to either convince her to change her phone to yours or to get the same phone that she has. My wife saw the brilliant idea of changing to Apple, so she went ahead and did that. Actually, she gave me a dirty look, so maybe not. But anyway, she did change over to the Apple. So now we can communicate a lot easier. And it works out for us. So you have to make a choice. Which way do you go? Who's winning that technology war? Is it Android or is it Apple? Each one has its own advantages. So the question you have to ask yourself again, which way do you go? Food. We had a lot of choices on that menu tonight. Which way did you go? Somebody that's really, really smart once said to me, be careful of what you order, especially if you're being conscientious of calories. Now, how many people think that salad is probably a healthiest or a healthy choice that you can make? Usually you would think that that would be a good choice. However, the next time you have one of those menus, I want you to take a look at the steak with the vegetable and maybe the potatoes and see what the calorie count is on that compared to some of those salads. Because when they start putting all that dressing on it, you may get to be 1,200, 1,500 calories in that salad. Now, for some people, 1,500 calories happens to be their full daily allowance of calories for the day. I don't know that person because they must be a little bird size, but again, that's the situation that they have to deal with. The steak, often with the green beans and the potato, will be right around 300 to 500 calories. So it's a choice that you have to make. Which one is actually healthier? Now, do you want to eat the steak every single night? Probably not. There's some other disadvantages to that. But if you go in not thinking about it and take that salad because it's healthy, that's what we've been told, now you're going to be in trouble because that salad dressing is going to raise it by 800 calories or more. So which way do you go? Now, let's even talk about healthy food. How many people look at every single thing that they buy in the grocery store in the ingredients list? One person. If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Those are the ingredients that are on some of the food that they have touted as being safe and beneficial for you. And it's full of chemicals. Here's one. Who's heard of red dye number 3? Everybody has, right? They put that in everything that they want to be cherry flavored or cherry colored, bright red. It's awesome. It's my favorite color. I love it. Your M&Ms, you got to have the red ones, right? I always save those for last because that's my favorite. Do you know where red dye number 3 comes from? Anybody?
Petroleum.
Petroleum oil. Same place you get your gasoline from. Now, who wants a little kerosene or diesel in their lunch? Or medicine? You know those bright red cough syrups? Or the grape colored ones? Yeah, red dye number 3, blue dye number 17, all comes from petroleum oil. Is that really what you want to put in your body? I don't think so, because guess what? They've proven it causes cancer. Is that the way you want to go? Not me. Oh, here's another little interesting fact. Who here wears cosmetics? Go ahead, Chris. You can raise your hand. There you go. Oh, only on Sundays. Okay.
The occasion.
Red dye number 3 was banned 40 years ago in women's cosmetics. Why? Because it causes cancer. If you can't put it on your skin because it causes cancer, should you be putting it inside your body? Probably not. Now, that's just one example of a food coloring. How many other food colorings? And by the way, red dye number 3 is classified as a natural food ingredient because it comes from the ground. So think about that when you see natural flavorings and natural colorings. That's kind of scary. So which way are you going to go? Now, the most important thing that I want to bring up tonight is how do you treat people? That is something that we all have to take a look at. And this has got to be personal. Nobody can do it for you. But I'm going to give you a scenario. How many times have you been in a parking lot or a street corner when you're driving and somebody comes up to your window and they knock and go, "Hey, do you have $1 that I can have so I can get some food? I'm hungry." Now, what's the first thing that you think of when somebody does that? Drugs, alcohol, anything else? Scam. You know what? There probably are some people that are taking advantage of the system. A friend of mine gave a scenario. And this actually happened to him. He was putting groceries in his car. And some guy came up to him and said, "Sir, I hate to bother you. I'm actually embarrassed to do this, but I need $20. Now, that's a little bit more than the $1 that a lot of people ask for. But $20 is a specific amount. That's a little bit higher than most people are just going to go ahead and throw away. And my buddy turned to him and goes, "Why do you need $20? The guy took a big sigh of relief. Somebody's actually going to talk to him without turning him down. That's a good step. The guy goes, "I'm on my way to back to San Diego. My car broke down. It's in the shop. I still need $20. I've already paid them over $300. I just need $20 more to get my car out of the shop, and that way I can get home. My credit card's maxed out. I don't have any choice. I got to come up with $20 somehow." And the guy pointed at a car shop. My buddy could see a car up on the lift. Now, is that just a convenient story that the guy came up with to try to scam him out of $20? Possibly. But have you ever broken down on the road? I have. I know my wife has. And through the generosity and not kindness of other people, they came to her aid, came to my aid, helped me out. And then they didn't ask for anything for it. You know, it's always that pay it forward concept, which I think is a great idea. Pay it forward. Now, my buddy looked at him. He was dressed okay. He had a pair of jeans on and a shirt. It wasn't a great shirt. It was like a t-shirt, but it was clean. Didn't have any holes in it. It didn't look like he was homeless. And then the epiphany hit my friend. And he goes, "What kind of world do I want to live in? Do I want to live in the world where people help each other out and don't question it? Or do I want to live in a world where I think everybody's out to scam me?" But he reached into his wallet, looked inside. He had a couple 20s. He pulled 2 of them out and gave them to the guy, which is more than what the guy asked for. But he figured, hey, you know what? It's a 6-hour drive back to San Diego. If you drive carefully and you're not speeding like I always do. He said, "Look, get yourself something to eat on the way. I've been in your shoes. get your car, get it taken care of, go home and see your family. The guy says, no, I only need $20. I appreciate it. I got snacks in the car. I only want 20. So that really made him think that this guy really did need the $20. But even if it was a scam, at the end of the day, my buddy wanted to live in the world where he thought that people were kind, honest, and helpful. Not that everybody was out to get him. So again, I'm going to ask you one more time, which way do you go? When people need help, when people need that next step, what are you going to do? Which way are you going to go? Now, we all have choices that we have to make. It can be as simple as putting on your shoes. Do you put them on before or after you put your socks on? Hopefully, it's after. Do you put your left sock on first and then the right? Those things are simple. They really don't make a difference for the most part, unless you have some certain special situation. So those decisions don't matter. But the big decisions, the ones that will affect you for a long time and others, I want you to think about it. I want to think about how you can make those decisions with kindness, consideration, and dare I say, love in your heart for others. Because how you act, I found you usually get it back some way, somehow in the future. Madam Toastmaster.